Well, Tom here. Now this is just a little video to take you up to speed with what's been happening over the last month. Back in July we had a meeting in London, absolutely fantastic, and this August we had one in Nottingham. Once again, very well attended like the one in London, and people want more. There's more of that coming in regards to the meeting in Nottingham. That was for the rule of law, and that's going to be held this coming November in Winchester, I believe. But the information will be put up about that. Now, I also had 2 court cases. July was very interesting. It was before a magistrate, and it went okay. She wasn't really up to the mark. I think she's just one of these part-time magistrates and didn't know the law, and she was guided by the court clerk. But the next one, we put in a mention. Now this is very interesting. This is this month, August. I was sitting outside waiting to go into court too, and a magistrate walked past. Said, "Oh, hello Tom." And I said, "Oh, hello." And he walked in the court too. This particular magistrate had already dealt with me, and he was very fair, and we won our case. Twice we've won our case. Now, 5 minutes later, the usher appeared and said, "Oh, Mr. Crawford, we've had to move you to Court 1. I said, "Why?" "The magistrate doesn't want to deal with your case." So, disappointing, because he knew everything that I had to explain. So I had to explain to the next magistrate, who was absolutely fantastic. This magistrate was a bit stern and matter of fact at first, but then started to warming to our case, because I put before him, I also laid some information. I had a captive audience. Instead of trying to get through the gatekeepers, he was there. So I laid some information before him. So, excellent. And I provided some fraud that he could look at, and I referred to it during the case. But I'm slightly digressing here. Now, during the case, I called the usher up. Well, it's a dimension, the hearing. I asked the usher to come up, and I presented her with a plastic envelope to give the CPS. He reluctantly took it and sort of slumped back in his seat. He was a young lad, and the magistrate asked 5 times what it is. So in the end, I had to tell him to stand up and explain to the magistrate exactly what it was, and he did. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what it is, because it may taint the next case that's coming. But basically, to tell you what it was, they've charged me with criminal damage. I knew this was coming. I knew they were going to try and stop me, but I presented something that I took from my house, Auntie's house. When I was in the roof, I was also in the loft and in the whole bungalow, which was in a shocking state and very distressing to see in that condition. But I took something out, and when the police came and asked me to come down off the roof, and they said they were going to charge me with burglary, because I asked them now, they kindly assisted me off the roof and carried my case on my bag, where I had a few supplies and such like, to stay in the property. But unfortunately, they didn't search me, and they certainly didn't search the bag. So the police, Nottingham police, aided and abetted in the burglary, because they took away the spoils, so to speak. So when I got back home, I sealed it up in a plastic envelope, and this is what the CPS had. Now, the judge said, "What was it?" And he explained, and I made sure that I put it on the record as well, so it was in their hands. And I said, right now I need charge with burglary. I've just given you prima facie evidence. You've got the confession. You don't need any more. And he said, it's not down to me, it's down to CPS. And the young lad, I don't think he knew what to do. So the case went on. During this case, I laid some information, as I said, and the fraud that I showed the magistrate, he acknowledged, and that's where he started changing. He started basically warming to the case. And he said, well, Mr. Crawford, and I will have to tell you, this is remarkable. He said, well, Mr. Crawford, the case now depends on who owns the property. That is a mega shift. I never thought I'd hear that out of the magistrate's mouth. So now, you do know the situation with criminal law. I do not have to prove I own the house. They have to prove that I don't. Excellent. Although I've got the evidence, which will be shown in court, we'll want to see the warrant. That wasn't forthcoming in the Leicester criminal court, in the Crown Court, that they couldn't find a judge to verify, and other documents that will be issued. This case is going to be heard on the 13th of September at 9:45 at the Magistrates' Court for now. So I contacted the CPS. I've waited a considerable time, and they said contact the police because they'd given me evidence to the police, and the police said contact the CPS. So it was a game of ping pong. Well, we now know that the CPS have passed the buck to the police, and I spoke to a detective sergeant last week, and he said, under no circumstances, Mr. Crawford, will we charge you with burglary. You've got to bear in mind that not only the magistrate but the CPS, both officers of the court, are now in contempt of court. Prima facie evidence and the confession means they must. So, but we've got other plans. We've been in the driving seat of this since it started, and everything, and I mean everything, is going to plan. So, the 13th of September at 9:45 in Nottingham at the Magistrates' Court, please come along and witness an absolutely amazing situation, that they have to prove that they own the house, and then we'll bring our evidence. On top of that, last time we were at the Magistrates' Court, there was a young lad sitting there. He thought he was being very smart and smug. He recorded what was going on and didn't say anything about it. He was a troll, and we know who he is and what he is and his name and everything. Now, come along and witness the next lot of trolls that's all getting ready to come along. They think we don't know, but we know, and I'll name them and shame them and document them and put them on YouTube, because they've hidden the background for far, far too long. They need exposing. But they're only a side story. So this is absolutely fantastic. Sue and myself battled. It's cost us an awful lot. It's really, really been painful to work all your life for both of us, for them to steal it all, then to steal our property on top of that, and on top of that, you do not get access to justice. Common law. Civil law is for the protection of government and corporations. Common law is for the protection of man and woman. I will be insisting on common law. And for all those people that think it doesn't exist, Civil law can't exist without it. So, really looking forward to this 13th coming up. And by the way, 13 is my lucky number. And once again, it'll be lucky for us and unlucky for those who think they own the property, and for the bank, and there's more coming to the solicitors and the county court, because they're going to be in court as well. So take care. Really looking forward to this. Please come along and witness it, because we need the general public to witness what's going on. Take care.